product a couple weeks ago, but how are they different now with Jeremiah Williams?
Yeah, he definitely gives them, you know, obviously another guard that can work downhill. He's got really good size and athleticism. Good with the basketball. Good defender. They're one of the best teams, best defensive team in the country, if not the best defensive team in the country. So they obviously have an elite shot blocker. They have really good guards. They have interchangeable players really across the board, you know, 1 through 4. They have a lot of versatility where they can switch and get after you. But, you know, he just gives them more punch on the offensive end. And it's really kind of hard to prepare for them because they have so many guys that have had really good individual games. And like some guys that come off the bench that don't play much, you know, used to start and they might play a lot. They got guys that'll start that could play the whole game, or, you know, they might play half the game. He just kind of feels his way through, I think, his rotation in that first half and see who's cooking, and, you know, and then sticks with him a little bit more. But, you know, sounds like and kind of looks like that he's, you know, he's a staple. Like, he's not one of those guys. He's the guy that's going to get in there and stay in because he's a good defensive big guard. And he just also gives them, you know, more of an offensive punch. But obviously it's a, you know, great addition, you know, in the middle of the conference season.
Just when you look back at the first Rutgers game, what can you carry over? What can you do better? What make you take from it?
Well, I thought our defense in the first half was really good. We held them to the fewest amount of points in the first half they've had all season at that point. I didn't think our defense was really good in the second half. We've had that issue when we've really played well in the first half. You know, it's just, I don't know, just human behavior, whatever. Our attention to detail is not quite as good. That's kind of been flip-flopped here. You know, I thought defensively we did some good things at the end of the Ohio State game. You know, last 10 minutes we were much better than we were in that first 10 minutes of that game. You know, Minnesota, we weren't very good defensively in the first half, and I thought we were really good in the second half. So, you know, just for us, just trying to be consistent and defend for 40 minutes, take care of the ball for 40 minutes. They out-rebounded us. I think they're the only team that's out-rebounded us. If I'm not mistaken, you guys would know better than
I think that's correct.
And we had more turnovers than they did.
Gonzaga, maybe.
So, yeah, I know one of those was close. So, like, you know, that's always important no matter who you're playing. But, you know, after somebody out-rebounds you, forces more turnovers than you create. And, you know, those are two pretty big pillars of the game.
Speaking of the human element, what do win streaks do to you as players, as a team, and then being on the other side of it?
Yeah, you know, winning over a course of time will soften you a little bit. Like, it'll kind of creep in and let you believe that some of the mistakes that you're making are okay. You know, I think that's more of a subconscious thought than anything. It's not somebody's thinking about saying, hey, like, it's okay that I don't box out. It's okay that I don't listen to our assignment. Like, I don't think it's that, but I just think from a human behavior standpoint, like, now everybody sharpens their pencil after a loss. As a coach, you try to do those things so you continue that streak and you know what's creeping up. And so, like, you fight that element more than anything. It's a good problem to have, but you just, you know, you got to be your own, you know, critic. As a coach, you got to be your own critic as a player. And just be honest with yourself and watch film and try to keep getting better even when you're winning some games.
Rutgers has played you well over the course of time. Just what is it about them that it's always a close down-the-wire game?
Well, I think they play a lot of people that way because their defense is their constant. You know, they're going to really get up into you. They're really going to pressure you. They're going to throw a lot of different things at you to see if you can handle it. I just think, you know, more than anything, they play hard. And they make things hard on you. They do a good job of taking away what you want. So if that Zach's post up, or Brady's ball screens, or Fletcher Lawyer's jumper, or Mason Gillis's jumper, like whatever it is, they really go on the strengths of each guy and just try to knock that out. Like, he's been a really good coach in our league, but defensively they cause problems, not just for us, but for everybody.
People have been taking away the three-point line from Fletcher lately. How can you play off of that? How can you weaponize that attention?
And I think some of that's opportunistic, right? Because, you know, people are still playing Zach one-on-one at times, and sometimes they're doubling, and sometimes people mix it. So it's just, you know, trying to be able to get some things off of some pin downs, or off of ball screen reads, or off of, you know, rotations. He got a good three in transition the other day. Off the press. We did a good job of centering it and looking opposite, and he got a good look right there. He had a couple other looks. He had another pull-up that he gets fouled on that they ignored. But like, yeah, he's just got to stay with it. He's got. I told him the other day, he's got a lot of makes coming his way. He hasn't shot the ball well. Thought he did some good things defensively in the Ohio State game. And you look at Battle's threes that he got. One was off a rebound, a couple transition. Like he had nothing to do with it. And so then at the end, like he makes that tough two right over him, and he's right on him. And I thought that was good D. And offense was just better than defense on that one. So I thought he did some good things defensively in the Ohio State game. You just got to keep guarding, keep doing little things, keep playing hard, and it's just it's a matter of time. Anytime you can shoot like he can. I'd always believed that with Carson Edwards. Like Carson had some real droughts, and I just always believed like we got makes coming our way, and I believe that about him.
Two kind of uncharacteristic games in a row now. February downturns have kind of been a thing in the last few years. Is that something? Do you think there's something to that? And is that something you're kind of wondering?
Well, I think it gets harder in February for everybody. Everybody's playing to go to the tournament. Everybody's trying to jockey, either win the league or have a good seed. So I really don't look at we won the league by 3 games last year. We just won 9 in a row. So I think there's a lot of people that would like to win 9 out of 10 in major college basketball in conference play or win their league by 3 games last year. Obviously, we've had some issues in the NCAA tournament and haven't played well, and that's what we're really trying to fight to do. We're trying to fight to win the Big Ten championship, but also get ourselves back exactly where we were. Like being a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament last year, we'd love to be a 1 seed there and then get back in that spot. And that's what we really talked about at the end of last year. We just don't automatically go to the NCAA tournament and then try to undo our wrongdoings, right? You got to fight to get back there. So for these guys to be in the position to fight to get exactly back to where they were is right there in front of them. So when things like that kind of get said and talked about, you got to look into the game. You can't just talk in theory. A lot of people that don't understand basketball talk in theory. Go watch our Ohio State game. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. Don't take tough shots. In the first half, we had 6 bad shots. We had 14 turnovers for the game. And you're how'd you lose it? There you have it. We wasted a 20 for 20 free throw game. How in the hell can you lose a game going 20 for 20 for a line? But I also think it's a good thing. We've had some struggles shooting free throws, and so that was kind of a silver lining for us. But you got to play better to win. You just do. If you want to not be down 8 at halftime, then guard Mitchell and Christie from Minnesota. If you don't want to guard them, then they're probably going to make some threes right there. In the second half, we did that. I thought we played much better defense in the second half in that last 10 minutes. But, be better because of it. But those turnovers, they led to a lot of points on the other end. So we needed Ohio State to play against us in the half court more, and we just didn't do that. So that's the functionality of things, and working on those things. That's the importance of it. There's no question about that. That's the importance.
I understand why Ethan's getting in the games, but would you like to see him be more aggressive offensively?
Who's that?
Ethan. Seems like he's, a couple of years ago, shot very well from the outside. And
yeah. It's, for him, he'll get into some different scenarios where he's on a defense offense,
right,
swap out at times, but he's got an 8-to-1 assist turnover ratio. He makes pretty good decisions. He tries to get the ball where it needs to be. If he's wide open right there, he needs to step up and knock that down. Sometimes when you sub in and out and then you get one, people are like, hey man, you got to take that. He just got in the game, or he's cold, or you don't know how somebody feels. And so I know this, he's always trying to help us win.
Right.
I know that piece of it. But so many people would talk in theory about, they would say that about Chris Kramer or whatever, and Chris was a good decision maker, but Chris also knew where he stacked up, and there was nothing against that. You know what I mean? He knew Juwan Johnson, Eachwan Moore, Robbie Hummel stacked up before he did, Keaton Grant, and he was the 5th option, whatever. And so the only thing he helped us do was win games, and that's what Ethan does. Ethan helps us win games, and he helps us do a lot of little things.
When you lose Zach to the second foul the last couple of games,
Yep.
kind of challenges that in terms of orienting your personnel to have offense out there, to have guys who can, run offense through.
Yeah, and I've went back with him, when he's fouled earlier. The fact that he fouls and it's at 4 minutes, you would like to believe that you could finish that half and play better than we did, but we didn't. And so, you put that in your memory bank, right? Like you just, because before he's gotten 2 fouls and I've went back with him and we've played it, but we've never really rode him all the way to halftime, right? We've always got him out with a couple minutes to go or whatever. We just got to play better. You know, more than anything, we missed a couple open shots in there. We had a couple careless turnovers where we were getting the ball in the right spots. Always look at it that way, basketball-wise. Like, where are you getting the ball? Like, if Braden Smith has a turnover, you'd be like, well, you don't want the ball in Braden Smith's hands? Well, sure, you want the ball in his hands. Zach Edey had 6 turnovers in the game, and he was, you know, they were swiping him and hitting him, and he got hit a couple times, but other times they were pretty good steals, you know, and so, like, hey, go and learn from it, whatever, but are you getting the ball where you want? Yes. So we got to keep getting the ball in one. The plays you went back are the bad shots and the turnovers, right? Like, you just keep taking good shots. We're such a good offensive rebounding team, and you saw that in the second half, right? You saw that we out-rebounded by 14 in the second half, which is pretty dominant. But we still had a first half where they out-rebounded us by 1. So, but no, it's just a balance of things. You know, you got to execute, you got to get good shots, and then your effort's got to be at a high level.
Speaking of the offense a little bit, was part of it when Edey and Smith were getting the ball, it seemed like Ohio State was doing a good job of delaying your offense and getting into stuff a little later.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't doing anything different than they've done before, yeah. I thought they were more consistent defensively. I thought they've been pretty inconsistent at times this year, especially late in games. But, like, give them credit. I thought their defense was really good. They did some really good things. Just got to make good decisions. And like, I thought we did for the most part. We just didn't have enough cracks at it because of those turnovers. Like, we're getting it where we want it, and then we're turning it over. We had one careless turnover. I think Braden had one where he just passed in the deflection in the first half, and it goes out of bounds. Like, that's just kind of a miscommunication thing. One guy's zigging while the other guy's zagging. But the other one's like Zach just exposed the ball a little bit too much, and he'll work on it and be better because of it. But besides that, there was nothing else common besides we had 5 or 6 shots in the first half we just absolutely shouldn't take. And we got to be better with that. But with that being said, I don't like our guys losing their confidence or losing their aggressiveness. You got to still be aggressive, but you still have to understand time and score, situational stuff. What do they want and what do you want? Like, don't give the defense what they want. You know, show a little resolve, show a little bit of patience, swallow your pride a little bit, move the basketball, and good things will happen.
When the shots aren't falling, how do you instill that confidence in them?
Yeah, get on the glass. You know, when we get quality shots, our offensive rebound percentage is still pretty good. When we get quality shots, we set our defense, and that's what you want. You want them to be able to go against a set. If they had to go against a set defense the whole game, we win the game, even shooting the same percentage. Like, we win the game. But when they're just getting 22 points in transition to our 5, like, you're not going to, we're just making it hard on ourselves.
We talked about the turnovers, but on the offense side, with the forcing turnovers.
Yeah.
You know, earlier in the season, you talked about wanting to do more of that. It's kind of been an area of struggle. What's the trade-off?
Yeah, no question. You just got to know your team. So, like, we're not going to be an ultimate pressure team, but we can have active hands, whether that's in ball screen defense or we double the post or things of that nature. And there you can generate some more turnovers. But, you know, teams take care of it and do a good job of it. Sometimes we're not going to be a team that turns people over. And that's just who we are. But we can still be a good team defensive group. So, but it is an area that we like to be better in. We've made a little bit of kind of subtle strides, but we haven't. You know, we are who we are, right? That's our personnel. So for me, I want to trade that off by taking care of the basketball, because I think we can take care of the basketball better. And so when we do take care of the basketball, it offsets that if we have games where we're not forcing a lot of turnovers.